Several people have made videos about Z versus Super, GT versus Super, and Super Manga versus Super Anime, including me, which is truly the superior, and most of the time, if not always, the anime of Dragon Ball Super loses because it's garbage. I will make an argument why Super Dragon Ball Heroes promotional manga and anime blow away all adaptations of Dragon Ball Super. And since I have already made topics arguing which version of Heroes is better and which version of Super is better, I will immediately pick the worst part of Super Dragon Ball Heroes, which is the anime, and put it against the best part of Dragon Ball Super, which is the manga, meaning they should be the closest in quality to each other, and see why Heroes is so much superior. Let's immediately start with tension, and Super is already getting destroyed by Heroes. Dragon Ball Super has each arc a new plot device introduced, mostly early in the arc. Examples such as Revival of F having this time reversal. In the Evil Goku arc, you have the Zeno button. In the Tournament of Power, the prize for the winner were the Super Dragon Balls. Even if they didn't exist, Super would still ask for something like Black Freezer or the Sword of Hope. Not that these even mattered, because Dragon Ball Super is a casual continuation taking place in the 10 years of peace in Dragon Ball Z. In other words, even if none of these plot devices existed, we would know everyone survived because it takes place before Goku meets Up. In short, Dragon Ball Super is filler like the Garlic Jr. arc, but worse because the ending of Z has been known for 3 decades, while not everyone knew Garlic Jr. was filler in the first place, because not everyone reads the damn manga, and faithful adaptations used to be rare. Super Dragon Ball Heroes is a promotional story that is independent on the ending of Z and can shift away with the main characters changing each story arc and moving through a different experience. While plot devices exist, they aren't as easy to use and won't solve every problem. The main antagonist won't be killed by Broly appearing out of thin air. If anything, the enemy have in this regard more plot armor than the good guys. Let's go to nostalgia pandering and fan service, which is apparent in both shows. Each episode of Heroes has a theme of having some fan favorite thing to advertise, because that is what it needs to do to lure fans to the arcade, while Dragon Ball Super does that to grab your attention because the story just isn't good. Just both are awful in that regard, but Heroes anime adaptation does a better job, since it has a good excuse why old villains are stronger than in Super. There are endless timelines, and the chance that there's one Reddit strong enough to put a challenge against Super Saiyan Blue Goku, for instance, is more likely than Universe 6 having a female Saiyan that can force Goku to use Ultra Instinct or walk through a Kamehameha from Super Saiyan Blue. There were also power-ups like the Evil Saiyan Aura, Time Breaker Mask, Demon God Forms, Dark Dragon Balls, etc. Evil Goku fought 100 times against various Son Gokus to master his body, justifying the power to fight against Ultra Instinct Goku, compared to his super counterpart jumping from Super Saiyan 1 tier to Super Saiyan Blue tier after one chapter through Senkai. In general, Super Dragon Ball Heroes has a vague power scaling, but regardless, it is more in the realm of possibility that a certain character is stronger than another, compared to Dragon Ball Super, where Krillin can jump from being weak enough to nearly die to a bullet to beam struggle with Super Saiyan Blue Goku. Since we are comparing it to the manga of Dragon Ball Super, Roshi being able to perform better against Jiren than Super Saiyan Blue Son Goku. Now let's go to the use of characters. Dragon Ball Super is awful at using its characters properly. It is literally the Goku and Vegeta show. The other get some panels fighting, but the fights are just not memorable. They are nearly irrelevant against the final boss. Meanwhile, Heroes handled it a bit better, and that is despite having two Gokus and two Vegetas. Each character plays a role in the story in some way, like Dr. Willow or Dr. W, who gets defeated by Gohan. Hart, who is a great ally and enemy. Hit and Jiren assisted Gogeta in defeating the major antagonist. Demon Gods assisted in distracting or training the Saiyans so they can defeat Crimson Saiyan. I guess Super has Frieza help Goku against Jiren in Super, and who gave energy to Susanoo Goku. Maybe you can even say Zeno finished off evil Goku. But except the Frieza won against Jiren, with 17 winning by doing absolutely nothing, is the only thing that can be considered someone else mattering in a fight against a major antagonist that didn't feel like an ass plot convenience or whatnot. Not to say that Heroes didn't have any. The Universe 3 power-up Super Saiyan Blue Goku was some cringy shit. Let's go to violence, and I guess in this regard, the Dragon Ball Super manga wins, as it doesn't censor as much. You have some scenes where characters get impaled through the stomach, or their arms get brutally broken. In Heroes, most of the bloody scenes are minor, more than the Super anime, but not more than the Super manga. So it's 1 point for Super over Heroes. Let's go over to the power-ups. In Heroes, there are more believable power than those in Dragon Ball Super, at least for the good guys, since that's the only ones that matter to us. The evil Saiyan Aura power-up was set up since the early episodes. So when Vegeta was corrupted and confronted with the evil side of Saiyans, he overcame it and made it its own in the following arcs. Those, it didn't feel like an ass power-up like Super Saiyan Blue and what other pilots for power-ups would follow. Even Super Saiyan 4 Limit Breaker is something in the realm of possibility, since it is basically a version of full power Super Saiyan 4 mixed with God Ki on top, justifying the difference in aura. Something that Super Saiyan Blue supposed to be originally, but they changed it to another form above Super Saiyan God. While Super Saiyan 4 Limit Breaker is not necessarily a form above Super Full Power Saiyan 4, but something that combines two variations of Ki into something similar to Super Saiyan Blue Berserk controlled with a mouthful. Story arcs in Heroes are far more interesting since they always expand on existing content, while Super keeps adding new stuff and usually shafts it, like the God of Destruction and the other universes. In fact, the Tournament of Power was the biggest mistake, since it made the multiverse feel small, while in the time the Ultra God mission started, where the timelines fight each other, various timelines in Dragon Ball and how they were affected was explored. What did Super do after the Tournament of Power? Kept the story in Universe 7, usually on Earth, where Frieza or the Red Ribbon Army usually being the cause of the problem. Meanwhile in Heroes, the present planet had criminals from different timelines, and then they went to unexplored universes of Dragon Ball Super, which the Universe 6 Kaioken requested help from Vegeta. It had far better reasons why old antagonists get involved, because multiple timelines mean multiple versions of the same character, and with just 12 universes, you have to give a good reason why freaking base Cauliflower is stronger than Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. Fuck Cauliflower. In terms of action, Heroes is gradually improving, however they are still as bland as the Dragon Ball Super anime, only hardly better. But this Dragon Ball Super manga has fights that are often unique to each other, even if it has the same ratatatata problem. Even if it's not that significant. Also, most of the fight scenes in the manga are still stolen from original Dragon Ball manga, making it hardly original in itself. The length of the fights in both are a mixed bag, since long fights are needlessly long and short fights are needlessly short. The manga has No standouts except maybe one fight with Goku vs. Moro. And Heroes has Kamba vs. Metal Cooler, or everyone against Black Janemba variation. And not to forget Cyan and Black versus Super Saiyan Rotisserie Crimson Saiyan, or Full Power Crimson Saiyan versus Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Berserk Ultra Instinct Gogeta Capsule Corp. So while the fights overall in the Dragon Ball Super manga were better in quality, in memorability and impact, they are less interesting and eye-catching than the Super Dragon Ball Heroes anime. The ranking is Super Dragon Ball Heroes manga series is greater than Super Dragon Ball Heroes anime, which is greater than the Dragon Ball Super manga, which is greater than the Dragon Ball Super anime. Super Dragon Ball Heroes anime wins over Dragon Ball Super with the following: tension, fan service, power scaling, use of characters, power-ups, partly in action, and better story arcs. The manga of Dragon Ball Super, however, still has more violence and consistently good arc. And if I add some bias into the mix, we get the following. Super Dragon Ball Heroes is better because it has only one episode with Cauliflower, Kappa, and female Broly, no Raybrian, no Kefla in the anime, made Evil Goku more likable, has an amazing antagonist in Hearts who is a reverse Lamas, and is actually a chat instead of a crybaby. Super Saiyan God gets a W. But then again, that doesn't say much. While this Heroes anime does improve, it only lasts for 7 episodes. Depending on which your perspective is, it's either a good thing or bad. Good because you don't have to suffer through 20 minutes. Bad because you barely get anything out of it. However, the manga, as mentioned in several topics, is significantly better than the anime. So if you want the best modern Dragon Ball experience, just read Super Dragon Ball Heroes manga. Don't bother with Dragon Ball Super at all. You are better off reading fanfiction like Dragon Ball AF or Multiverse. Oh, I also forget comedy. They both suck at comedy. So don't bother looking for which is better for comedy. They are both awful.